National Security Advisor Ajit Doval would be flying to Moscow this week to hold discussions to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict. This comes after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited both Russia and Ukraine in the past 2 months and met its leaders Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. Shortly after his trip to Ukraine and his meeting with President Zelensky, the Prime Minister spoke to President Putin over the phone on August 27th. A Russian embassy statement said that during the phone call, Prime Minister Narendra Modi informed President Putin about his recent visit to Kiev and stressed India's commitment to bringing about a settlement for Ukraine by political and diplomatic means. According to sources, it was during this phone call that the leaders decided that NSA Ajit Doval would travel to Moscow for peace talks. No details regarding the schedule of this visit are currently available. Vladimir Putin shared his principled assessment of the destructive policies of the Kiev authorities and their Western patrons and went on to highlight Russia's approaches to resolving this conflict. The Russian embassy said about the phone call. The Prime Minister's office said the two leaders exchanged views on Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Prime Minister shared insights from his recent visit to Ukraine. He underlined the importance of dialogue and diplomacy, as well as sincere and practical engagement between all stakeholders to achieve an abiding and peaceful resolution of the conflict, a PMO release said. The Prime Minister reiterated India's firm commitment to support an early, abiding and peaceful resolution of the conflict on its official handle on X. Last month, the Prime Minister was in Ukraine and met its President Volodymyr Zelensky. During the meeting, the two sides discussed the Russia-Ukraine conflict and Prime Minister Modi said, "India was never neutral. We have always been on the side of peace." President Putin has named India among the 3 countries Russia is in touch with over the Ukraine conflict. "We respect our friends and partners who, I believe, sincerely seek to resolve all issues surrounding this conflict, primarily China, Brazil and India. I constantly keep in touch with our colleagues on this issue," Putin said. Other world leaders too are of the view that India can play a key role in finding a resolution to the Ukraine conflict. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni on Saturday held talks with the Ukraine President Zelensky. China and India have a role to play in resolving the conflict. What must not happen is to think that the conflict can be resolved by abandoning Ukraine to its fate, she said, according to reports in Italian media. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has sharply divided the world and most global powers have taken sides. India, however, has constantly called for peace with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, stressing that this is not an era of war. News Desk, Kaumudy Global.